Welcome one and all to another amazing night here in Tranquility.
We absolutely are in for a treat of a match here tonight, no question about it.
And the grenades from Pomku eliminate everybody on the field.
Now between something as well is going to be a fly as a death block them, and it's going to be huge. Fighting three.
The double kill with the Bastion ulti? Alright, I see you guys.
For B-Well, look to find a stick there, finds the stick, they find two with it!
Those who find the picks will save the fight, and they don't really need to save what they've already won.
And Cam with the four-man punch off the map!
Experience tranquility.
Right, it's Thursday. That means it's time for a Discord tier matchup, and this one has a lot on the line here tonight. Winner moves on into lower bracket. Loser, their season is over. It is Ultimate Inferno versus Galactic Gibbons. My name is Dexatron, and tonight I am joined by Karma. Karma, man, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Feels good to be back. Haven't been here really most of the season, but back another beautiful Thursday. Getting a little bit chillier here in the Midwest, but great day to stay inside and watch some Tranquility Overwatch, especially against these two teams who've been making some noise in the playoffs so far.
Yeah, it's kind of chilly where I am too in the southeast. It was about 70 yesterday. high of 50 today, or high of 55 today. But I mean, hey, let's stop talking about the weather. Who cares about that? We're inside anyway. Let's focus in on this matchup here. Alternate Inferno comes in as your 4 seed. Galactic Gibbons comes in as your 7 seed. But they are two very good teams, and sadly though, one of them will be going home tonight.
Yeah, Galactic Gibbons had to fight already one match, face off against Mercury Esports last week, ended up taking them to the point and ended up winning. Alternate Inferno hasn't really played yet, but they're excited to get back into it, and I think it's going to be a good matchup heading into this bracket.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you look at these two teams, they are both very good. They have met each other once, very recently, actually, in Stage 2. And it was Alternate Inferno coming up on top of that one, 3-1. So they're looking to redo that here again tonight, try to keep the same script, maybe even make it a little bit better and sweep them. But if you're Galactic Gibbons, you have a lot to say.
Yeah, you really do, especially taking that loss 3-1. You want to try to flip the script, like you said. Alternate Inferno, they want to keep that script going. Galactic Gibbons, they want to try to flip it, make it a 3-1, maybe even a 3-0 for themselves. And with the first map being Samoa, a sort of new map, it's going to be interesting to see what these teams go to do, especially on this map.
Yeah, still, Samoa, the newest map here in Overwatch 2. I feel like a lot of people are still learning it. So it's a good opportunity for a team, for both teams, honestly, to come in and have a good map to see, okay, which comp is going to work better for us against the other team here.
Yeah, and especially not to mention, too, like you said, comps is going to be the biggest thing. And one of the biggest things, too, that came out is all the bunches of nerfs. We saw a lot of support nerfs, some tank nerfs. D.Va got buffed a bit, and it's going to be a whole new different meta coming into it. So we're going to see if these teams stick with the same sort of system and the same sort of comps that they had, or if they're going to switch it up a little bit to try to deal with these nerfs and buffs that came out in this latest patch on Halloween.
Yeah, absolutely. But, when I talked to both these teams' coaches today, I did ask them, like, what comps have you necessarily been working on? Both of them kind of did say the same thing. They've both been working on Sigma comps. Galactic Gibbons coach Meg Polar did mention that they have been working on some Ryan and some Doomfist in the mix with that Sigma comp, but I would expect to see the Sigma comp mostly. But for Inferno, their coach, Deity, did say that they have been struggling to find their footing on which variant of that Sigma comp they've been wanting to run here.
Yeah, Sigma's honestly just a strong tank right now. The shield plus the eat, with the amount of damage that Bastion has been giving out, it's sort of looking like it's going to be that. But again, Sigma, you can be sort of run a lot of different ways. You can run a little bit more of like the sort of brawl style that we've been seeing with like the Bastion, May Sim, it seems like, as well as even more of a double support. Try to stay back, try to keep your snipers and let them do the rest. And especially too with Samoa, a little bit more of a QCQ map. It's going to be a little bit rougher to see what these two teams' styles come to and who's going to come out on top.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, it's kind of every sub map you might run into something a little bit different just because the points on every map are drastically different. Yeah, that's like that on almost every control map. But with this one being the newest one, I feel like there's still a lot of people and a lot of players still getting used to how big and how small these points are.
Yeah, it really is. As we see the sort of the same thing come out from both sides, Galactic Gibbons going for the Symmetra, I'm guessing just a TP out, and then Alternate Inferno keeping with the Sojourn, something that we've seen a lot during the World Cup, at least being able to pop off and make some big plays come out. So we're going to see if Alternate Inferno are able to do that for themselves.
Yeah, and you see both of them come out here with that Sigma here, and shout out to the Denji Mafia, who's the tank there for Galactic Gibbons. That was actually one of the players they want us to watch out for here tonight, so it's going to be really interesting to see how they do right now. But you do see Little Lights taking a lot of pressure here on this high ground, trying to take a lot of space, force back Galactic Gibbons here, but it's going to be forgetful. Going to be able to find Hannah out there first, but it's going to be Sky right there on a trade back to Havoc, and then Little Lights will fall by the hand of Denji there. Galactic Gibbons already looking to try to clean up this first fight here, and they're looking good so far.
Yeah, Little Lights going a little bit too aggressive after Galactic Gibbons lost their Baptiste Hannah. Just try to go a little bit aggressive, try to take that space, and then at the end of the day, they ended up falling to it, and now it's Galactic Gibbons with the first point, and now they have to try to take all the space back and try to continue this fight, especially with I Don't Care's May being at about 50% and Galactic Gibbons being at 64%.
Yeah, and one interesting thing about that first fight there was that both Babs died pretty early, so normally you'd be looking at Amateurs being ready for this fight, but neither one of them really even close to it. You do see Hannah there able to get really close to it, but an Ice Wall coming out there from Koi will be able to find Little Lights again. You see everyone there getting credit for the kill there. Sky picking up a second one there on the I Don't Care, and Alternate Inferno already on the back foot here.
Yeah, they really are, and we see Havoc sort of sticking back, trying not to be too aggressive, but that's the one thing that you can't really do, especially with the Sig comp. It's a lot more of a brawly style of Sig comp. You want to be up close with your Sig, make sure they don't get walled off, and that's something too that Little Lights needs to be aware of, is just where's that May gonna do? Have they used their wall or not? And am I able to push up?
Yeah, and again, the ice wall comes out there. Little Light's gonna get sectioned off from the rest of their team. The Blizzard Glow coming out from I Don't Care to try to keep it alive, but it will not be able to do that there. They do find PB1 who does use their beat right before, but they are not able to survive through it. Sky, though, being just the carry they have been this entire round, finds one. They turn it into two here, and a Galactic Gibbons, again, already winning this fight. Now just trying to clean up the rest of the stragglers. Just Sky with a third, though.
Yeah, Sky being able to find three there, making sure, like, hey, we're going to keep this going. And on the side of Galactic Gibbons, the only thing they really used was that beat. So they have a full slate of ultimates online, whereas Alternate Inferno, they're getting close to most of them. They did use the May Freeze, but at the end of the day, you just got to make sure Little Lights, they don't go too aggressive, especially with this May on the other side, be able to wall them off as they have them.
Yeah, these ice walls have been clutch for both sides here. Image now coming out here from Hanya. The Flux getting paired here with Denji. Now the Overclock coming out from Sky. They realize they win this fight. They win this point. It's already into that kind of territory right now, but I don't care. Finds a huge one there on Hanya. But Sky right back picks up one there. Forgetful with the Overclock Blizzard now coming out here from Koi. And Little Light so far away from the rest of the supports, going to end up falling there, but they do lose Denji out in that trade. Now it's up to the May and the supports here for Alternate Inferno to try to keep this fight alive, but they have to play on point. I don't care will fall. Now you do see... wow, I can't read that name. And Havoc, they're very low in health, trying to keep themselves alive. The Lucio here for Alternate Inferno doing whatever they can. Havoc will fall. Eventually, the Lucio will fall. You do see, I believe that was Forgetful, sliding back in there, trying to keep this point alive. The Flux, though, coming out from Little Lights, won't be able to get back in touch in time.
No, they weren't. Galactic Gibbons takes point one and does it fairly well. Just sort of just disrespected Alternate Inferno. Little Lights was trying to take that space. They're like, no, we're not going to give it to you for free. We're going to wall you off. Make sure that you basically stop dead in your tracks and you can't move, and just punish them completely. And that was a great point for the side of Galactic Gibbons. Now on point two, I'm guessing we're going to see the same thing come out from both these teams, but it's going to be a little bit more different with a point that's a lot more wide open on this point two.
Yeah, and like you said, wide open point. It's just a much larger point as well. It does have that clock tower in the center of it, which does provide a little bit of cover. But again, you can just have these contests on this point go for forever.
Yeah, you really can, as we see both these teams come out, same comp, same style. Galactic Gibbons using that TP to get there just a tad bit faster than Alternate Inferno, something that worked for them last time on point one.
And again, Alternate trying to give themselves some space here, trying to build some pressure. But you see Denji go around the corner here into this other room. Gonna be able to try to fight back here a little bit. Does force Alternate Inferno there off that high ground a little bit. Ice walls coming out there from the May there for Galactic Gibbons as they try to section someone off. Alternate Inferno, the point is open. Looks like they're going to try to cap it here first before a team fight has really even, found any picks yet. Forgetful trying to get down a Phoebe 1 and not going to be able to find them there, but it'll be Sky falling there first, and Alternate Inferno able to get the first point here, and Galactic Gibbons now down one member. Do they even take this fight?
Doesn't look like it. Looks like Galactic Gibbons are trying to back out, making sure that, hey, we all stay alive. And on the side of Alternate Inferno, Little Lights is at 70% to their Gravitic Flux, something that's going to be very big, especially if they're able to keep on to it and hold it on for another fight or so, and be able to get this up and make sure that the Galactic Gibbons doesn't take the point.
But that's not how you want to start this fight. If you're Alternate losing, Forgetful, that's a lot of your damage out there right now. I don't care, and Little Lights will have to try to pick it up here, but you're almost getting rid of Phoebe 1 there. They were able to keep themselves alive by the skin of their teeth here. Sky just trying to aim down anyone with that railgun shot. Not gonna be able to find Havoc there, but hey, Denji will now the Flux coming out here from Little Lights. You already see the healing burst come out there from Hannah there. Sky, Denji picking up two more. Now just getting rid of Little Lights, and the point should go over to Galactic Gibbons.
Yeah, if you're Alternate Inferno, that could not be that's the worst possible thing that could happen to you. You use the Flux, something that you got very, very early, and you lose the fight. So now they're at 50%, but Galactic Gibbons has the point now and has almost every single ultimate. The only one they don't have is that beat, something that they used last fight to try to get the point.
Yeah, and that beat could have came in handy there to, you know, try to cancel out the Blizzard from I Don't Care, but like you said, it was probably more important for them to use it on that Flux. But again, the Ice Wall coming out there from Koi might be able to get rid of Little Lights, but you do see the Immortality Field come down to save their life there for the moment. But Henya gonna be able to pop that Amp Matrix there. However, I Don't Care finds Phoebe Wonder. The Blizzard does come out, but doesn't look like they find anyone in Sky. Now popping that Overclock, just looking for any head they possibly can find. They do see Orin there trying to just poke their head up. They immediately rethink that play there. Denji now in a really bad spot as the Blizzard comes out here from Koi, able to freeze one there, but Light's gonna find Little Lights there. The Ambush now coming out from Havoc on the high ground, but how much can that Baptiste do by themselves up there? They're trying to heal whatever they can. The Accretion gonna come out here, hit Orin, and you're gonna see Denji fall up on the kill there. Now they're going after Forgetful, who does have the Overclock ready to go, but they're not gonna be able to use it this fight, as Denji just going through, cleaning up Hal's getting the ace.
Making sure he gets the ace too, as well as blocking off of Havoc's amplification matrix. Something that you said, like Baptiste, the amplification matrix is really good for Baptiste being able to do more heals. But one thing that you can do there as well is Forgetful. They do have the overclock, and they should have been up there with them to try to pop it and try to turn this fight. But now it's basically last fight territory for Alternate Inferno.
And we saw what happened last time this kind of happened on first point. Denji used the Flux really early to try to make sure that Alternate Inferno never even touched point there, and they do have their Flux ready to go again. Forgetful, though, this Overclock has to be kind of big for them this time. They have to be able to find some value off it right now. Each team just poking at each other right now, but Forgetful gonna pop that Overclock right now, looking for anyone they can. They missed that shot there. The Flux comes out. Henya able to find I Don't Care. Koi will be able to find Forgetful. It's all going down here for the Inferno right now. The Accretion does come out, able to hit Little Lights there. Koi now looking to get a lot of kills here. Sky will be able to clean up Havoc, and that will be Samoa going over to the Galactic Gibbons.
Hey, like we said before, Galactic Gibbons, they want to try to flip this script, and this is the best way to do it. Come out convincingly on Samoa, first point, and first time just being able to just be a menace completely. As we see Denji, I'm guessing this is the ace that he got, and yeah, Galactic Gibbons just took advantage of what Alternate Inferno were trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, Genji, the ballroom dancer in his free time, proving that the tanks can be light on their feet. They're able to find that ace. But Galactic Gibbons, I mean, hey, they found the first map win here. They did pick up one map against Alternate Inferno the last time these two teams met, but remember, that ended in a 3-1 favor towards Alternate Inferno. But based off what their coach said when I talked to them about their comps, it seems like they've been kind of, you know, they haven't found that right spot yet with that Sigma comp that we saw them run that entire map.
Yeah, which is surprising with them saying that, with how dominant they looked on that first map on Samoa, just taking advantage of what they gave them. Alternate Inferno just went a little bit too aggressive, especially Littlefoot, just going a little bit too aggressive on the Sigma, making sure like, hey, I'm trying to get this space, but the team's not there around me. Yes, this is a Sigma comp, and yes, Sigma is more specifically sort of like a slow sort of style, but hey, this is more of a brawl Sigma, so you got to be up there with your team. You got to be basically like a four-man group with Sojourn sort of on the offset trying to get those picks. And unfortunately for Alternate Inferno, that's not what was happening. They're just getting picked off left, right, and center.
Yeah, and honestly, like you kind of mentioned there, that May able to ice wall off the tank there for Alternate Inferno so many times on that first point, kind of really put them in the hole a little bit there. We didn't see the value of the May that much on the second map, but we did see it there in that play of the game for Denji as they got the Accretion and then followed it up onto that Lucio kill there. But I feel like, you know, the Mays have been very, very key in these Sigma comps here lately, and they will continue to be key because just of how much, you know, space they can take away from a team, how you can section off a member, and we saw Galactic Gibbons do that to perfection there on the first point.
Yes, May is one of those teams. May is one of those characters that it always seems like it's going to be meta because of her being able to build that wall, being able to separate that team, where it's like, if you have a team that wants to go very, very fast and you're able to split them off using your wall, it's going to be rough for the other team to try to get rid of it unless you can bait it out. Something that Sigma's not really good at. He really doesn't really have a movement ability. He just has that stun. So he's basically like, as soon as they get over the wall, he can't move around it unless you have 4 people on the other side breaking right in the middle, breaking right where you can and try to back off. And if you're Alternate Inferno, that's what you need to do if you want to keep going that aggressive.
And we saw kind of another thing pop up there on that second point with that May wall. You saw Alternate Inferno basically break one of the pillars down so they could throw the Immortality Field out there to keep the Sigma alive, but that just allowed Galactic Gibbons to immediately jump on them once that Immortality Field went away. You saw what happened there. I believe that was the start there for Denji and his ace.
Yeah, it really was, and it's just something too where it's like, it's a wall, and it's a great ability too, just being able to completely sort of mentally collapse some people, especially with the May freeze. The amount of times that people get tilted because of it, because you're getting slowed down and because of that sort of stuff, it gets annoying at points. And that could also be a sort of workaround that Galactic Gibbons is working on, trying to get the mental going of Alternate Inferno and trying to tear them down piece by piece.
Absolutely, but Alternate Inferno now has the map selection here. We're going to be heading to our second map of the night, the hybrid map of Eichenwald.
Eichenwald, great map, great pickup. I think this is one of those maps that it really does well against with this sort of comps, but it's one of those things where you got to take what you can get. Eichenwald is very two sort of point heavy. First point, it's a lot more brawl. Second point, it's a lot more dive, and especially with these buffs and nerfs, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see some Winston, some Diva come out, especially with her buffs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would not be surprised to see the Diva come out as well. But remember, both these two teams have basically told us they've been working on Sigma comps, so the Diva comp would be something very interesting to come out from here. Galactic Gibbons has been the only team to kind of say, hey, yeah, we've been trying out other tanks with the comp we want to run, like that Doom and like that Sigma, like the Rhine. I mean. But the Doomfist would be a really interesting thing because it does kind of, let us know that maybe Galactic Gibbons does have the potential to run a little bit of a dive comp or run a little bit of a comp that's more up tempo.
Yeah, and especially with the Doomfist too, you could sort of run that with the brawl comp that you want to run, the sort of same Sigma style, but with the Doom instead, just using that wall and then having him punch against it, try to get a stun right there, it's a little bit closer, so that way your team can follow up on it instead of going into the backline and being sort of like a one-man show. But coming into it already, it looks like we're going to see a little bit of a different style. We're going to see the same tanks on both sides, but Galactic Gibbons going with the Pharmacy instead of the May, and then the Soldier instead of the Sojourn, so a little bit of a different spelling there. And then Alternate Inferno going with that sort of classic sort of style of the Bastion May comp that we've been seeing sort of come out everywhere, sort of like the different style other than the Sojourn comp.
Yeah, and honestly, Galactic Gibbons, I mean, they do have a good kind of counter to it, as long as Forgetful just doesn't want to look up at the sky. This Pharmacy combo coming out with them with Koi and Phoebe Wonder. They immediately know that's there now because they walked out the gate and are already being just pestered with a whole bunch of damage.
Yeah, they really are. This is one of the comps that's like, if you don't move fast, it's going to take you rough. But it looks like Alternate Inferno, they know that, and they're already taking a fight here at the point.
Yeah, and you saw Forgetful there, kind of look up at the sky, look up at that far there of Koi. Koi already, though, getting rid of that immortality field there, and now focusing a lot of that damage there onto Forgetful. However, Phoebe Wonder gets incredible, though, has to hide up there in that high ground. Now there'll be Koi finding two with one rocket there. They're going to try to turn to the more. They will find one more. Sky will find the fourth one, and that'll be all that Alternate Inferno does in that fight. Actually, no, Sky with the team kill.
Yeah, this is the one thing, too, that if you're Alternate Inferno, I wouldn't be surprised we see Forgetful swap back onto the Sojourn after this, because with the Bastion, when you go into your tank mode, you can't really move that fast. You do have that speed reduction penalty, so it's going to make it seem like you're a sitting duck, as Koi already has the barrage, something that I would be surprised if we see it right here.
And especially with them looming overhead, they're definitely looking for it. They're coming down. They find one with it. Not going to be able to find two. They will find the second one. They're up a little late, but they do lose their own life. Denji will find Forgetful, though, will immediately trade it back out onto Sky. Hannah, though, will find I Don't Care. And you're going to see the res come out here from Phoebe Wonder as they knew the coast was clear.
Yeah, that was great play by Galactic Gibbons, sort of baiting them in, making sure, hey, Koi, you're not going to do it right after the bridge so that way they can get underneath. Make it so that everybody on Alternate Inferno's in the wide open. As we see a swap come in for Forgetful, not onto the Sojourn like I was thinking, but onto the Soldier instead. Get a little bit more of that damage and a little bit more of that sort of mobility that sort of hinders the far.
Yeah, you see the damage here ready for Havoc. They're going to drop it right there, try to get some point pressure here. However, the flux coming out from Denji will be huge. They're not going to be able to find any kills if the immortality field does come out there from Havoc to keep everyone alive. I don't care, though. Actually able to find Koi. That's a huge pickoff here for Alternate. And Sky, though, immediately comes back with a visor of their own, finds I Don't Care. And you see the rest of Galactic, or Alternate Inferno here, kind of just hiding around corners, little late, so we'll be able to find Sky. Phoebe Wonder, though, because the pressure was taken off them, was allowed to get Koi back in this fight. And now the pressure being applied right back to Alternate Inferno right now. Little Light's going to try to get rid of Denji, but they have the support there to keep themselves alive. And Denji, with help from almost everyone on the team, will be able to find that other Sigma.
Yeah, and if you're alternate Inferno, that works because they did use a few of their ultimates. They had to use the Valk, they used the window, as well as basically every single ultimate. But they're 50% to both their barrage and their gravitic flux. But alternate Inferno, they're coming back, have the ultimates. Now they just gotta try to make a team fight win with just over a minute left.
Yeah, you see them getting very aggressive here. The B coming out there from Orin, but Koi already finding havoc there with the boot. The Blizzard, though, coming out here from I Don't Care. They're going to be able to trap Denji right there, but they do have that Mercy pocket. However, they will be able to survive through it all. Sky does trade out there onto Forgetful as they do lose Hannah there, but right now, Galactic Gibbons looking like they might be able to hold here. Little late, though, with 2 picks there to make it even back for them. Phoebe Wonder, though, throwing their life into the firing line. They're going to be able to get Denji back in this fight. That is such a huge res, and look at what Denji is able to do right after that. Fine little lights.
Yeah, that if you're Galactic Gibbons, you're glad that they were able to make that get that res, get them back 11, turn that team fight. Now I Don't Care is onto the Ashe now instead of the May to try to deal with this Pharah, something that's been ruining their chances of winning this with about 18 seconds left. Koi looking for this barrage and looking to try to find this.
Flux coming out here from Little Lights as well as the Visor trying to get something going here, but they do not recognize Koi. Koi, though, just gonna do a long distance barrage, be able to find I Don't Care. Now the Flux coming out here from Denji. They're gonna be able to find one. Hannah finds another. Denji will find another one as they come right back to ground here. And Forgetful not gonna be able to get to the point. And Galactic Gibbons with a full hold here on the first point, not even a tick.
Yeah, if you're Galactic Gibbons, this is what you wanted from all along. You want to try to flip this script, and I'm pretty sure that coach was lying to you, Dex, saying that they don't know what their style is. I think they know what it is.
No, that was Alternate Inferno's coach.
Oh, that was Alternate Inferno. My bad. It's been a long day. It's been a very long day.
Understandable. But Galactic Gibbons looks
Gibbons
great.
has been going off. Yeah, they've been going off completely. Koi has been popping off. Denji has been going and saying they said that, hey, look at him. We're looking at him, and we're making sure we can watch him every single time we can.
Yeah, but now as we head into this defensive round here, Alternate Inferno, a win for them is a draw at this point. We're not going to go to overtime here. So if they can go into halftime only down 1 map, that would be huge for them.
Yeah, it really would, as we see Alternate Inferno sort of changing it up, trying to go for that pharmacy, but instead of the Pharah, go for the Echo instead. And Galactic Gibbons, they might look like they're going to take a pop shot with Sky instead, try to get that first shot off. I don't know if Koi's going to stick with it, especially since Phoebe Wonder is off of the Mercy, but they could. Oh, never mind. Phoebe's going to stick with it. So yeah, it looks like they're going to be trying to run sort of the same thing that they did last time.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Alternate Inferno struggled to shut down the Pharmacy combo that last round, and this time Alternate Inferno coming out with an Echo Mercy of their own. But the grapple shot, not going to be able to find anyone there from Sky. So close to finding Little Lights there, but it would not have been able to kill.
Yeah, one of as we see Sai switch back to the soldiers, so the same comp they were running on the defense. Now it's just Koi. Is there on the defense basically behind them completely trying to take the Sky duel?
Yeah, and you see the pressure they're coming out from I Don't Care. You know, Koi has to be almost perfect with these shots, and they hit I Don't Care right there, but with that Mercy pocket, it's almost like it's nothing right there. Now you see I Don't Care focusing in there on to Hannah. They're not going to be able to find one. It will actually be Koi finding Forgetful. A good start here for Galactic Gibbons, already getting rid of one of the DPS. And now make it the tank as they find Little Lights. This is not the start they were looking for here. It's just up this Echo Mercy combo in the sky. However, Orin actually going to be able to res Little Lights, but they lose their life. Same thing with I Don't Care. And now Little Lights will accretion themselves back to their own spawn. But that'll be all that they wrote on this map as Galactic Gibbons coming out strong so far, already putting themselves on the series point.
Yeah, they really were. Galactic Gibbons sort of taking advantage of it. Koi just, even though Alternate Inferno wanted to go to the Echo with I Don't Care, they weren't marking them the entire time. That's something that you got to do with this Pharah comp. It's a very slow moving, but it does take a lot of damage. And if you're playing the Echo, you got to make sure, hey, they're in my sights the entire time. They're not just sort of sticking behind us, and that's what they were able to do. Take advantage of Havoc, making sure that they're the first pick, and then it ended up just steamrolling them from there for Galactic Gibbons.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Galactic Gibbons has just looked very strong so far. No matter what comp it is they've been running, yeah, they were running a Sigma comp this entire time, but the 2 DPS, they've been able to switch it up a little bit and still find a lot of success. Alternate Inferno, on the other hand, we've seen some success from them, but it hasn't been continued or consistent success. We've been able to see him cap the point a couple times on the first map of Samoa, but after that, especially going into Eichenwald there, they got full held. And at no point at all through all the fights that we saw them on that attack phase did it look like they actually had a good grasp on a fight. Maybe they had one opportunity, but they allowed a rest to come off, and Denji came back alive, was able to find 2 picks almost immediately.
Yeah, they really were. It's one of those things too where it's like you look at Alternate Inferno and you're like, hey, we gotta try to step it up. We didn't have this thing. Maybe we can try to do something and try to stick with our guns a little bit and just try to get it going. Obviously, next point is going to be a Flashpoint map, so maybe this is the turning point for them. Obviously, there is too. It's a newer game mode, so maybe they have some tricks up their sleeve for that, but it's going to be rough for them, especially with how Galactic Gibbons have been playing the first 2 maps.
Yeah, but the good thing here for Alternate Inferno is that they have a little bit of time to think about and strategize what they need to do as we head into that Flashpoint map. But everyone, we're going to take a quick break, allow the teams both to think about what they need to do, and then be right back with that 3rd map of Flashpoint. far, Galactic Gibbons has been able to quench the Inferno from alternate Infernos at the moment. But hey, there is still a lot of fight left in both these two teams, and it's time now for alternate Inferno to try to start that reverse sweep if they want to keep their season alive. Karma, so far, Galactic Gibbons has came out absolutely on fire. And when you look over at alternate Inferno, especially with a name like Inferno, they have been anything but that.
Yeah, they really have, and it's just been rough for the side of Galactic Inferno, just sort of falling down at every single step of the way. Some on Samoa, we saw Lightfoot just sort of feeding a little bit. We saw just them getting a little bit too aggressive. Galactic Gibbons taking what they could and just walling them off. A great game so far from everybody on the side of Galactic Gibbons, and it's just been a roll sort of. Alternate Inferno was able to get 50% on point 2 of Samoa, but other than that, they haven't really touched the point at all, and even got full held on Eichenwald so far.
Yeah, and like I was saying before break there was probably one fight that alternate Inferno looked like they could have won. They got rid of Koi in the sky. They got rid of someone else. I think they got rid of the other support there. But you saw Rez come out there from the Mercy for Galactic Gibbons that got Denji back into the fight. And Denji picked up 2 kills right after that, pretty much ending the fight right there. And that was a kind of a turning point on that map, in my opinion, for Galactic Gibbons. And then it was one fight and done, basically. When the sides flipped there, Galactic Gibbons just came out, basically rolled right over them, got that one tick, sent us to halftime pretty quickly here. But Alternate Inferno is one of those teams that I feel like they're number 4 for a reason. They can turn it on, and they can come alive in this series.
Yeah, they really are. And it's one of those things, too, where it's like you look at this, okay, now you have to do it. It's already a 2-0 lead for the side of Galactic Gibbons. You got to try to start that reverse sweep, and it's going to be rough, especially here on Flashpoint. It's going to be a rough time going on to it as we go to Saravasa. New map, new game mode. It's time for Alternate Inferno to try to turn up the heat a bit on the side of Galactic Gibbons.
Yeah, absolutely. And not a shock we're going to Saravasa here for Flashpoint. There's only 2 Flashpoint maps, but I don't necessarily know how many people like New Junk City over Saravasa, as we always see Saravasa being played here. But there was one interesting thing that me and you talked about during that break there, Karma, is that Galactic Gibbons coach, Mag Polar, was worried about Alternate Inferno, especially with one comp they ran, a very, very aggressive brawl comp that was ran with a Symmetra. We have yet to see that here tonight from Alternate Inferno. It has to show up here, because that's the one thing, in my opinion, that Galactic Gibbons is actually kind of worried about.
Yeah, it really is, and you sort of saw it a bit on Samoa, where the tank wants to go super aggressive, but the rest of the team didn't really know how to be aggressive with him. I don't know if it's just because they're thinking in their brain. A lot of Sigma comps recently have been a lot of sort of stand back-ish. You saw the double sniper come out on Circuit Royale, a lot of these sort of slow style comps, but now with the sort of Sigma meta, it's a lot more of an aggressive brawl style Sigma, so you got to be more aggressive with it. So I wonder if that's just sort of, it just hasn't clicked in their minds yet, like, hey, we could still be aggressive with this tank. It's a very good tank, takes a lot of damage, doesn't really have that big of a shield, but still does a lot of the stuff that Reinhardt wants to do. They want to be up in your face. If you're able to be close and be able to get that 2-shot melee, you can basically one-hit a target. So it's one of those things where it just needs to click in their brains a little bit, like, hey, we could still go aggressive, and I want to see if that's able to come to fruition here on Saravasa.
Yeah, and you kind of hit it there, that Sigma, right now, in my opinion, might be one of the most flexible tanks in Overwatch. Maybe in the history of Overwatch. This Sigma that we have in this meta might be very flexible, because like you said, they can play poke, they can play brawl, they can play rush, they can just play bunker if they really want to, because of how good Sigma is. His abilities, yeah, the shield doesn't do a lot, but hey, it can still block a lot, and once the shield goes away, he has grasp, which can easily eat up a lot of damage as well. Accretion is a great stun. But, you know, as we head in here, Saravasa, really in a moment, Alternate Inferno, I mean, we've talked about them, how they need to, you know, turn on that fire a little bit, get themselves a couple fight wins here, turn it into a map win. What does Galactic Gibbons need to do? Because we've seen them now in 2 maps run 2 slightly different comps and really haven't been slowed down.
Honestly, they just need to keep doing what they're doing. They've been aggressive, but they've been taking what Alternate Inferno's been giving them. On that, I remember on that first point, Galactic Gibbons, their support went down first, and it looked like they they were going to lose that fight. And then Alternate Inferno's tank just went a little bit too far, got walled off, and then they ended up killing him. And that was sort of the turning point of the map. So you got to take what the Alternate Inferno's been giving you, and they've been doing a really good job with it so far, just taking what they're giving and not going too aggressive with it. They're making sure, like, hey, we can still lose these fights. We lost a fight so far, so let's just take it nice and slow, take what they're giving us, and then as soon as they see that misplay, they're going to go aggressive and make sure that they can take advantage of it completely.
Absolutely. But as we now head in to Saravasa here right now, I mean, we talked about comps here a lot. We're going to see what each team is going to come out with here. Alternate Inferno, this is a comp that I kind of expected to see from one of the two teams running that Jungle Queen comp. They want to play a little bit fast. They want to be in your face. Galactic Gibbons, though, showing us a Rhine for the first time tonight.
Yeah, and honestly, just a good old brawl. You can't really go bad with that, especially on a map that's very sort of tight quarters, especially during 2 points. But also Inferno using the Junker Queen, it's really good, especially against this Rhine comp. Try to just sort of displace, try to get that one pick off, and just try to be more aggressive. Something that it looked like that they sort of need to do, especially based off the last 2 maps.
But you have to look at Koi again, coming out on that Mei. We saw how good the Mei was on the first map of Samoa. If they can section off Little Lights away from the rest of their team like they did on the first map, it's going to be a really rough road for Alternate Inferno to get back into this series right now. And you already see Galactic Gibbons here taking control of the point and already forcing back Inferno a little bit. And the pin coming out, going to be able to find Little Lights there, who does use the Shadow ability to keep themselves alive.
And they really are, as they also use the Zuzu and nerf ability, gaining it so it's 15 seconds. But again, now they're just sort of wrapping around, trying to get a pick onto the Lucio of the Battle Galactic Gibbons. But hey, they've been doing well and trying to stiff them off, and they were able to capture the point.
Yeah, and right now you do see Little Lights here just trying to, apply pressure to Galactic Gibbons. But Sky opening up this fight here, finding Forgetful. I don't care what can immediately come back and find Hannah here, and then I don't care lose their life there to Phoebe Wonder, getting some revenge there for taking out their other support. Koi though with 2 picks there. Sky will wrap this fight up. Galactic Gibbons still holding on to the point.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I talked about. Galactic Gibbons, yes, they ended up losing 1 to start off with. Sky did get an opening pick, but they looked like they were going aggressive. Alternate Inferno, they went aggressive, but then Galactic Gibbons just sort of took it and then just sort of surrounded them and were able to make those plays, make that aggressive call. Even though Alternate Inferno went aggressive, they were just sort of able to rebound it and go basically their own style of aggressive and go first, where Sky gets an opening pick on the Havoc, and that's going to be basically the go button for the side of Galactic Gibbons to try to make sure that they can keep this point flat.
Yeah, and you do see Sky now being a little bit harassed here by Forgetful and Little Lights, and now Alternate Inferno, if you can quickly speed yourself back in, maybe you throw, some bodies at this point and try to take it here, but it looks like they're giving up on it. Actually, no, Forgetful able to force an overtime here. Now you see the rest of their team coming in. Forgetful will lose their life here. The damage now coming out from Henya in that backline. You immediately see, I don't care, try to block some damage there, but they take a fire strike to the face instead. And Galactic Gibbons now just trying to clean up the rest of Alternate Inferno, and it looks like they're going to be able to.
Yeah, they really were. That's just unfortunate for the side of I don't care. Just the deflect just went off right at the last second, right when the fire strike showed up, and that was just insane. Now Galactic Gibbons, they do have 3 ultimates onto this next point, and coming back, Alternate Inferno, they also have about 4 ultimates heading in to Garden.
Yeah, it's going to be a very invested fight here, very heavily invested one here. You could start with the Rampage, you could start with the Shattered. Actually, though, it's going to be the Consumer Rush coming out here from Havoc, and the Blade coming out from I Don't Care. Beat immediately responding there by Phoebe Wonder, trying to keep the Galactic Gibbons alive, but we Little Lights there finding Henya out. That's a huge pick for them. Then they also find Sky. This has been the best that the Alternate Inferno team has looked so far tonight. The Shadow coming out there from Ascend, going to be able to get Little Lights not off the map. A little bit of a mistake there from Ascend, and Little Lights makes them pay for it. They find Phoebe Wonder as well. And now Koi is going to be the last one to be sent to spawn.
Yeah, that was a rough side for the side of Ascend. Obviously, trying to make that chatter, trying to make a play, and ended up not being able to do it. It would have just been better if they were able to just keep that chatter, make sure that, hey, we're going to take this into the next fight. And they got it. Let's just keep it going, and let's just keep that momentum going, keep that alt rotation going. But this guy on the side of Galactic Gibbons, they do have both the freeze and the overclock, which is just wow.
Sky, we've seen what they've been able to do with Soldier so far this series, looking to find one headshot here to open up this fight for their team. Not going to be able to find anyone with the Rampage, though, coming out here from Little Lights. Will be able to find 3. Can it confirm any kills off it? So far, they have not been able to. You do see them. The Blizzard, I believe, coming out there from Koi, not going to be able to find anyone but Little Lights, and I don't care, find two. Hanya, though, will find Orin there, but I don't care, immediately trades it back out with 2 kills of their own, make it 3 and 4 overall for I don't care this fight.
Yeah, I don't care being good. That's one of those things that's very, very good with the Rampage, just the Rampage and the dash, being able to try to get those quick confirmed kills, and especially with the dash being reset on Genji, it's one of those things too where it's just like you can get in and get out fast, as point 2 of Palace or Gardens goes to the side of Galactic Inferno, as now I believe we go into Palace.
Yeah, this is gonna be a much different fight than what the last one was for Gardens, where really no one has an ultimate ready to go here. I don't care, and Havoc really close to theirs, but all that Galactic Gibbons really will have into this fight here is maybe Hanya's overclock or Ant Matrix here if they get it and want to use it incredibly early. And that's exactly what they want to do. They're trying to focus in there, and I don't care, but they're not going to be able to find them there now. And now you see the rest of Galactic Gibbons kind of going all the way around the world here, trying to get into the backline of alternate Inferno, but they're going to rethink that and regroup back up on the high ground.
Yeah, it really was, and I'm surprised they didn't decide, like, hey, let's try to go a little bit aggressive. We have the BAP window there, they get that extra healing, but the Tuna Rush comes out. Tuna Rush blade comes out from the side of alternate Inferno, and they're trying to chase down the Lucio, and isn't able to get it, and falls from Hana.
That is not what you want to see. The beat that will come out here from Phoebe Wonder. Look at it, it hits all the Galactic members right there. They have to win this fight. Orin will be the next one to fall there. Alternate Inferno, though, at this point, you know you've lost this fight. Just try to stall out on this point as long as you can. Little Lights, though, gonna be able to take care of Sky, but Koi will be able to get rid of those last 2 members of the Inferno.
Yeah, alternate Inferno using those ultimates to try to get that point. They did get it up to just under 50%, sitting at 44, but now Galactic Gibbons, they have that shatter. They're close to another May Freeze, as well as the Bastion out from Sky, who swapped off of Sojourn about 2 fights ago.
Yeah, and again, now we're seeing ultimates come on board for both teams here. Ascend, their shatter didn't really find a lot last time, but I believe it was because they kind of used it in desperation. Koi might have also blocked them off there as well, but you do see Sky here trying to take be a little bit sneaky on that Bastion, though, but eventually they decide against that. But you do see one member of Inferno there going straight to point, trying to play it there. Oh, shatter comes out, it's huge, it finds 3, but the beat comes out from Orin to keep everyone alive. Close enough, coming out from Koi. There's the charge, misses this time, and now the Rampage comes out, hits 3, but you do see the kills going the way of the Galactic Gibbons here. Havoc able to find 1, but Little Light trying to keep this fight alive there for their team as they desperately need to retake this point. Now they're on point right now trying to fight here. Oh, they're going to be able to find Koi as the overclock coming out here for Forgetful. What will Galactic Gibbons even recontest? Yeah, they are going to hit, but Phoebe Wonder is going to go right down to the dirt. Same thing with Hanya as Alternate Inferno retakes the point.
That was great for the side of Havoc, just having the thought to throw out the Suzu right before the shatter from Ascend, so that way, even though they did get all 3 of them basically with the shatter, they were up immediately, and they were able to throw on the beat as well. So now they were able to turn the fight, have about 75%, whereas Galactic Gibbons, they do have 2 ultimates online and at 92%, so it's basically a cap it and you win it for the side of Galactic Gibbons.
Artillery coming out here, already gonna find 1, and who else? But they find Little Lights. That's not who Alternate wanted to see down. Now here comes the Ant Matrix, and you see just Sky pumping the damage through it. Forgetful will fall. Havoc, next one to join them. 99% will be all that Alternate Inferno gets on this planet. But Galactic Gibbons, they're gonna be able to say they got 100. I don't care. Just desperately trying to come in there and get shut down.
And it really was just trying to make it. Again, Little Lights is the first one to fall, something that's very, very rough that's been going on for the side of Inferno, but now they have to go to point B Temple, a point that I saw before. They can make some big plays happen, especially on the edge here, because of that open space right on the outside edge.
And again, Galactic Gibbons coming into this fight here with ultimates to spare. The Blizzard from Koi will be huge here. I don't care though, and Havoc really close to their ultimates. And here comes the Blizzard from Koi. Does it capture anyone? No, but it does force Alternate Inferno away from the point here at the moment. Sky going into that stealth mode here just to try to keep them away and at ease. But here comes the Blade. Here comes the Kitsune Rush with the charge coming out from Ascend, making sure I don't care doesn't get any value out of that Blade for the 2nd straight time. But Oranjeski gonna be able to find Hanya there to even things out. Little Lights far away from the Rampage here. We're probably looking to use it there as Galactic Gibbons takes the point first.
And able to get that point first and shut down some ults as Ascend just goes in completely trying to find one. The Rampage comes out, does hit 2, both the Lucio and the Reinhardt, but it looks like it's gonna be all Alternate Inferno in the side. Ascend gets another pin.
and eventually Alternate Inferno will take that fight there, but there were so many questionable plays that came out there. Forgetful apparently fell off the map. Orangensky, I feel like they could have been able to avoid that charge there from Ascend, and now, I mean, Galactic Gibbons can come really back into this fight here quickly if they want to try to retake point.
Yeah, they really can. They do have the shatter from the side of Ascend. Koi and Sky are both fairly close to their DPS ultimates at about 70%. They can come back fast, but Alternate Inferno, they do have Forgetful's overclock, something that is a very rough in the feat that they just use to try to go aggressive.
Yeah, and you immediately see Forgetful find PV1. That's a huge pick. Another charge, and this time Ascend's gonna say, okay, I'm taking you with me. But right now there's no tank on the field. It's up to the supports, up to the DPS at the moment. And right now, Galactic Gibbons doing a good job making sure their DPS is kept alive. I don't care. Blinked off the map, but Orangensky can be able to trade out there with Koi.
A lot of map kills, I believe. Nope, he did not boop them off, but yeah, again, the Galactic Gibbons just trying to stay alive. Definitely comes out from the side of and gets one from the side of Hannah. So does the artillery strike as they turn it to the side of Galactic Gibbons, going for 40% and up. As Ascend just comes back and gets one. Pulse bomb, 6 Sky from I don't care, but that might be the turning point of it. And now Alternate Inferno, they have to come back and try to make some plays.
Yeah, but if there's one key thing that happened in that fight, even though Alternate Inferno kind of all over the place right now, is that you did see Hanya there use that immortality field. Yeah, it's going to come back here in about a couple seconds. I don't think Alternate Inferno's actually going to be able to capitalize on it.
No, it doesn't look like they are, but they do have the Kitsune Rush, something that is going to be very, very helpful, especially just be able to get that extra mobility speed as well, since Koi, they do have with Mayfreeze, something that can stop them right away.
Here comes the overclock and the Kitsune Rush. The Suzu are going to come out to keep Havoc alive. Their overtime has come in. It's a little late, so first one to fall. The B coming out here from PV Wonder. They can taste victory in their mouth right now. Orangensky will be next to fall. There's Ascend takes care of them, and they do go charging into the back line. They're not going to be able to find anyone, but Forgetful, next one to fall. Can anyone from Alternate Inferno turn the fight? Havoc out. It's all up to I don't care. They recall themselves to keep themselves alive. The pulse bomb comes out, but it only sticks to shield. Koi taking care of I don't care. Galactic Gibbons will take this series in a sweep, keeping their season alive.
Yeah, that's great for the side of Galactic Gibbons. Even though they did make some changes, going to a more of a standard sort of rush style, able to make that play as we see I don't care with the Genji getting play of the game. Trying to put everything they can on the 1 point that they got on Gardens, just trying to keep the entire side of Alternate Inferno alive. But at the end of the day, it's Galactic Gibbons taking the win and taking the sweep completely, being 3-0.
Yeah, and Galactic Gibbons throughout this entire series just looked like the better team. Alternate Inferno, they had bright spots. They had points where they looked really good, but it just seemed like Galactic Gibbons was able to kind of one-up them every time that they had those little glimpses of hope. But I mean, Galactic Gibbons, they've been around Trank for a while. Even their coach told me they've had a lot of roster changes throughout the season, and especially since the last time these two teams met. And I feel like that was the difference here tonight.
Yeah, it really was. Both these teams, you sort of saw the difference between the two teams, just how aggressive Alternate Inferno wanted to be. They wanted to be super aggressive, but at the end of the day, Galactic Gibbons, they were sort of using their aggressive into their advantage. They were just sort of catching out the tank just being a little bit too aggressive, their supports being a little bit too passive, and it was just ended up collapsing for the side of Alternate Inferno, and Galactic Gibbons was just taking advantage of it time and time again.
But this will do it for Alternate Inferno's series. The Alternate Esports team and org as a whole is a very good org. I know they're not necessarily happy about how this series went and how this season probably ended up for them, but hey, I know they're going to be able to bounce back. They are a very, very good org, and I know a decent amount of people over there. But Galactic Gibbons, they have been in Trank for a little bit, and honestly, this does not shock me. They are one of those teams that always seems to hang around and is always able to make a run in the playoffs.
Yeah, they really are just trying to make that, I don't want to say sandbagging during the regular season, but taking that time to really try to mesh with your team, making sure, hey, we have the best possible chance in the playoffs, where, hey, we're gonna not get tilted. We're gonna make sure that we're the best cohesive unit. We can try to make these swaps in and out, try to be the best team, and try to just be aggressive for the playoffs and try to make that run, even though it looks like we might not be able to.
Absolutely. But that will do it for us here tonight. Next week, though, there's a lot more action as I believe teams we're getting into the final round before that championship bracket. You're not going to want to miss it. Almost every game will be an elimination game next week. So it's going to be a very, very exciting week. Karma, I want to thank you for being my co-cast tonight. I also want to thank Winton for finally showing up. He was a little late. Just
a little late.
Yeah, just slightly late. I mean, he was supposed to be here an hour ago, but hey, he finally made it. And a huge thank you to the two people behind the scenes of CBF and Orange. They have done a great job throughout this week, getting us all the games, all the views, all the angles, and just all the productions. They have done a great job. And CBF also wants to say, and thank Winton, because Winton is always in their spirits. But that will do it for us this week in Tranquility. Make sure you guys tune in next week for more awesome playoff action.